so we've been camped out near West Glacier. We were staying at that really pretty spot right on the river, and a lot of the week was pretty rainy, so we weren't able to do too much until a few days ago. We did get to go to Lake McDonald, which we've been there before in the winter, so it was kind of cool to see it again when the lake wasn't frozen. And then we also got to do Avalanche Lake. It was a really pretty hike to a beautiful lake. We did it at sunset and pretty much had it all to ourselves, which was super nice. But now we're actually making our way to the eastern side of the national park. But because of our height and our length, we are not able to drive the Going to the Sun road. So we're actually having to drive around the national park, kind of under it. So now we're making our way to the east side of the park. And another little problem we're having is there's not a lot of boondocking near that entrance. So we're gonna be staying in a campground, but all of the campgrounds on the east side of the park seem to be closed due to construction. So we're planning on finding another campground near that entrance to be able to stay in, but there's not a lot of information online. So we're kind of just driving there now. We're about a 2-hour drive away from that area, and then we're gonna find a campground to stay in. So come along with us for the journey. We're super excited to explore this side of the national park and bring you along for it.
Look at the color of this water down there. So we're driving on the highway and we saw this river just going next to the highway. And oh my gosh, it is so blue. Very cool little visitor center, and I took a little picture of a plaque over there that gives us a little bit more information about this reservation as well as the campground and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, here's a campground map. We're in F21, and there's actually a bathroom right there, pretty close to our spot, and that's also a spigot right behind our spot. So we needed water. This works out perfectly. Safe to say we're a bit confused about this place because it's just like a big field. There's a lot of like campsites in the trees that are really nice, but our spot is F21, and if you look at the map, like F21 comes before F9, which is really weird. But like our site seems huge, so I'm not really sure where we're supposed to park because it's 4 sites. Like there's F21, F20, and then like
whatever's behind it.
From it. And then there's only like 2 tables. So I'm like, do we park next to the table? Do we not? I mean, it's pretty open, so I think we can kind of park wherever we want as long as we're not taking up too much space, but still pretty confused. But let's fill up water first, because this isn't at our site, it's kind of right near it.
Our water tank is filled. Oh, it's hard to shut. Okay. Now we can head over to our campsite, which is actually somewhere in this area. We just don't really know exactly where we're supposed to park, but like Grayson said, I don't think it really matters as long as we're in the general area, because as you can see behind me, it's not too full in most of this campground. Alright, so we're parked where we're supposed to be, but see, it says 21 kind of. It's definitely spot 21. And then over here, this is not a spot. There's no other spot number. So, I think this works. Good enough.
We are out going for a little bit of a walk to check out the rest of the campground, but also it is around 30 minutes from sunset, so it's a great time to go for a walk because it is still cool out and not too cold. Once the sun goes away out here in Montana, I feel like the temperatures drop like 10 degrees. And maybe that's just me being weak. I've got no idea, but that's just my personal opinion. But anyways, I want to give a little bit of information about this campground. I took a picture of this at the front. And so basically, This campground is called the Chewing Blackbones Campground, and this traditional Blackfeet Indian campground, along with the shores of St. Mary's Lake, has been dedicated to the Chewing Blackbones, a courageous warrior and medicine man that was dedicated to the preservation of the northern and southern Confederated tribes. He was a keeper of and carried the beaver bundle with pride. He was highly recognized and respected by all the people who came into his presence as a leader. He was born in 1859 in what is now known as the Two Medicine River Valley, where the Blackfeet made two medicine lodges that is currently known as buffalo jumps that still stand proudly today. In his youth, he participated in battles to defend his homeland. In later years, he continued to serve the tribe as a source of information and wisdom. Until his death in 1863 at the age of 104, which is absolutely crazy. The Chewing Blackbones Lodge was sought out as a Blackfeet celebrations and encampments, where his family offered true Blackfeet hospitalities to fellow campers and visitors.
We just got back from our walk and I'm getting ready to make some dinner now, and after we eat we're gonna go to sleep pretty early because tomorrow we're going into the national park. We're going pretty early because we want to get an early start on a hike. But for dinner I'm actually making pumpkin waffles. I made them the other day and we both loved them, so tonight when we were thinking about what we're gonna have for dinner, I was like, let's make some pumpkin waffles, and we were both on board for it. So I'll put the recipe in the description in case you're interested in trying them for yourself, but let's get to making some dinner. And dinner is made. We have our pumpkin waffles, bacon, and eggs. We're going to enjoy this and then just hang out for the rest of the night, and we'll see you nice and early in the morning.
So the main reason I'm waking up early today was not necessarily to start the hike that we're doing at sunrise, because we couldn't even leave our campground till 6 because they have the front gate locked because of the quiet hours from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. They close the front gate. So the main reason to get here early was because the hike we're doing starts at the West Glacier entrance. It starts at the lodge, and the lodge parking lot is supposedly usually 2/3 full, but it looks a third full. So we're still glad we got here as early as we did. It was really to snag a parking spot. So we're gonna go inside, make some breakfast, and then get on the trail.
Taking the dogs out to go to the bathroom before we start the hike, because unfortunately in national parks, a lot of them, they can't go on the trails. So they're just gonna stay in their house and hang out. We are entering Grizzly Country.
And so we do have a bear spray, obviously. We've got our bear spray, and it says that there's no guarantee of your safety, that there are bears on this trail. We actually were talking with some park rangers just now, and I guess this trail, Cracker Lake, is a very wildlife heavy, bear heavy trail. So basically they said the bears are pretty used to people, so if you see one, just start making noise. It's probably gonna be on the trail. Step off the trail, let them walk by, keep going about your business. Supposedly they've had no attacks or people getting killed on this trail, but it says bears have injured and killed visitors, but she just told me otherwise. So I have my bear spray ready to go.
Come at me.
Right. Hopefully we don't have to use it.
This morning we're hiking to Cracker Lake. This trail is just over 12 miles round trip. I don't remember how much elevation it has, but it is rated as a hard trail. And it's funny because the parking lot is pretty full, but there isn't really anyone on this trail so far. We haven't seen anyone come on it. We haven't seen anyone on the trail. But This trail takes us to a beautiful blue lake. We saw pictures of it and knew we had to come here. We're super excited, but a little bit nervous that we might come in contact with a bear, so fingers crossed, hopefully not. And if we do, hopefully it's not too close to us. So yeah, we're excited for this trail. So far the trail has been super muddy. I already stepped in like a big pile of mud, but we also have seen a lot of different animal tracks. We've seen moose tracks, and I think we've seen bear tracks.
But the bear tracks are like down off the trail a little bit.
The bear tracks were like somewhere over here, but you could even see in all this greenery where it was stomped down, and you can kind of see like where the animals use those paths there. But we're just being loud, making lots of noise to let animals know we're here, and also being careful with all this mud because it's super slippery. So we ran into some people who backpacked last night and they're on their way back down. And we were asking about animals and if they've seen anything. They didn't see any bears, but they did see 2 moose. And one of them, I guess, was at the lake near the campsites. So hopefully when we get there, it'll still be there because I'd love to see that. How many miles in are we at, Gray?
Almost 3.6.
We've got about 3 miles left till we're at the lake. So we're just gonna keep trekking along.
Before doing this trail, I was reading some blogs about just trail conditions and things to know, and I did read that there's probably more than 3, but the main 3 types of berries that were talked about were thimble berries, which kind of resembles like a raspberry, elderberries, which can be eaten but only if you cook them, and then baneberries or something, but I'm pretty sure this guy right here is a thimble berry. I'm not sure, it looks like a raspberry. Gonna try it, but the main rule of trying berries is trying it and chewing it and spitting it out. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's not bad. It just, I don't know if it's ready enough, but it definitely kind of tasted like a raspberry. Would I eat more? Probably not, because I'm not really sure that's what it is. But it was still sweet and it was kind of cool to try, I guess.
We made it to the first little viewpoint of the lake, and when I tell you this water is blue, it is so blue. You never know when you see pictures and videos, and you never know how edited it is, but it's super blue. And now we're just walking alongside the water, and I think over here is going to be like a really good outlook, so we're just gonna keep walking.
We hung out at the viewpoint for a little bit, and it was so stunning and just so amazing to sit back and just watch the clouds move over the water, over the mountainside, just over everything. It was beautiful, and it's cool to see like when the clouds move how blue the water gets, and then how blue it still is even when the clouds are over it. And we actually brought bathing suits because we really wanted to jump in. It's kind of like been a thing for us recently, like getting in cold water. But being that the water's cold and then that it's cold outside and windy, we decided not to do that. So we're gonna head back to the truck. We have about 6 miles to go.
We're getting pretty close to the car now. We're less than a mile away, or around a mile away. And we were walking back and we heard someone yelling or singing or just making noises. And we turned the corner and it's a solo hiker. And we were like, hey, was that you making the noises? And he was like, yeah, you guys have binoculars? We were like, no, but we have a big lens. And so it turns out there's a mama bear and 2 cubs on the dry lake bed that we passed on the way in. And they're really far away, so we didn't get like a super good look at them. But the way that we're headed, so basically the lake is right here, the bears are somewhere over there on the lake, and we're headed back in that direction. So when there are some clearings in the trees, we might get a better look at them. And it did look like they were walking in this direction, so hopefully they don't make it onto the trail, but they seem like they were going super slow. So I don't think so, but super cool. We, you know, knew that we might see some bears when we were here, but we are almost back now, so we didn't think we were gonna see any. So kind of a nice surprise to get to see some bears, and hopefully we'll get to see them a little bit closer, but not too close.
Yeah, we don't mind seeing the bears as long as they're not on the trail.
Exactly.
So as long as they're like a little bit of ways away, they're always fun to see, or just wildlife in general.
Yep.
Hi, boys.
Hi, boys.
Well, maybe it was fate when you walked in the door. I could have sworn I've seen your face before. So glad that you said hi, 'cause I was way too shy. What would have happened if you just had passed me by the night? We keep on drinking, keep on wishing for someone out there to hold. All those little moments, the best you did.
Have a great one.
Thank you.
We had such a great day at the park, and upon leaving we were looking for another spot to stay for the night. And on the eastern side of Glacier, it's just so difficult to find boondocking. There's literally none because it's a reservation and it's not allowed. So last night we did stay at the Chewing Black Bones campground, but tonight we were staying at the Divide Creek campground, and we saw on iOverlander that you can stay in their overflow lot for $20. It's dry camping, but it's not a big deal. We didn't need the amenities, and when we were paying for our campsite, we asked, you know, what is good locally, and we had already found out about this Rising Sun place, but the lady who was checking us out, somebody in her family kind of runs this place. They don't own it, they just like manage it, and she's like, definitely recommend. So that's what we did. We got a little gluten-free pizza here. We're gonna head back to the camp and most likely destroy it.
So this is the campground. It's super cute, and these are like the little spots over here. And this is the overflow parking where we're staying. To be honest, we just didn't think it was worth it to pay more to stay in a spot like that when it's all kind of the same thing. I'm not sure exactly how much those spots were. I think they were like 35 or 45, and this was $20, so we figured why not save ourselves some money. But now let's get inside and eat this pizza.
So the pizza we got is a gluten-free Supreme Summit. This is the 12-inch gluten-free one. They come in 12-inch and 16-inch and then 12-inch gluten-free. And it's got pepperoni, sausage, onions, peppers, black olives, and has red sauce and a house blend cheddar cheese. Supposedly the sausage is called like redneck sausage or something, but it looks insane. I'm gonna give it a try. Check that out.
I'm so excited.
Smells insane. Definitely a 10 out of 10.
That pizza was so good. It did not last long at all. But for the rest of the night, we're gonna clean and just hang out because we're pretty tired after our hike today. But we're super excited to explore a little bit more of Montana and a little bit more of the national park. If you want to see more of what we're up to, definitely make sure to follow us on Instagram also at Our Full-Time Adventure. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell to be notified when we post, and we'll see you in the next video.